Hello everybody, it's Caroline here again. I just wanted to show you some more blending, some more color blending, and I thought maybe in this video I should take the opportunity to show my face. I'm a really seasoned crafter. You can tell by the background that I have lots and lots and lots of stuff, and it's all over the place, and unfortunately I don't have one of those color-coded craft rooms like some of these other crafters. Okay, I'm going to change my phone to be looking down at the desk, and then I'll move into the color blending and how we make a card with color blending and a background silhouette stamp. Okay, so we're going to get started with our blending. Just wanted to mention that you don't need to get all the colors of the rainbow. You can do just fine with the primary colors. The primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. And if you've got these three colors, then you're all set to go. I'm going to do a very small piece today, probably going to result in a sympathy card, because I'm just going to put a silhouette stamp on top of it. Okay, so let's start with the red, or actually let's start with the lighter color. Let's start with a yellow. I have this little plastic rubber mat that I'm putting over here just to hold my ink in place. And I'm just going to fill up my brush and start with a bit of yellow on my card. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of yellow over here and a little bit of yellow over here because this is to mimic a sunset and we don't really need too much yellow all over the place. Okay, so 3 dots will do. In the card making business, 3 is a magic number. Then we're going to do with a little bit of red in the sky, and actually we should probably have a little bit more yellow because we want to make the red turn into orange. Got my red, and I'm going to fill up my brush, and I'm going to just put a little bit of red here, there, and everywhere to give me that sunset effect. So we want a little bit of orange effect, and lots more yellow. And you can stick your card down if you want to, but I like to turn it around and manipulate it, so I'm just going to go over the top of it. Even in the sky you can add some blue because we will have blue on the horizon probably. We want the blue. So for the blue I don't really want to blend it too much with the other colors because I want it to be more blue and not green. Just put a dab of blue elsewhere. Dab of blue over the red. The red and the blue may turn purple, but that's also okay because we frequently get streaks of all different colors in our sunsets. And then just a dash of green at the bottom. So I could mix my yellow and my blue to get green, but if I do have the colors, I prefer to use the green ink. Get a green brush and put green at the bottom of my page. So we can pretend that these are the rolling hills, and above the rolling hills we have the sky, and then in the background we have the sunset. I'm just going to redo the blue a little bit because I see I have a couple of white spots there that unfortunately don't look like clouds. Redo the blue. And then I'm going to go around the whole edge of my card with some red. There's the red ink. Where it blends with the blue, it makes a nice purpley colour. Where it blends with the yellow, it should make orange. And this is just to make your card look finished, edged, nicely coloured. There we go. Now, this probably looks like nothing in particular at the moment, but we're going to put a nice black silhouette stamp on it, and then you're going to see how beautiful it looks. I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black to stamp on this stamp. I'm going to use this nice cornfield looking stamp. That's what it looks like once it's stamped, and I'm going to stamp it on top of this background. I always take my stamp and stamp it onto the stamp. It just helps you to make sure that the stamp has got ink all over it, and then you can stamp it onto your background. Okay. We'll put it quite far up to cover 3/4 of the card or 2/3 of the card. These images must be done with the same concept as photography, where you will divide your page into thirds. I'll discuss that in a later video. I'm just putting pressure on top of this stamp to make sure that it is all nicely stamped down and soaked into the paper. And when we lift it up, there we have our lovely cornfield. And doesn't our image look just so much better now that we've put a nice cornfield silhouette on it? Okay, then I'm just going to put my stamp together. I'm going to back it onto a piece of green. I might just need to trim it down a little bit. And then onto a piece of white. So for the piece of white, I'm going to score it down the middle. This is an A5 piece of white, and if we score it in the middle, then it is a 10.5 width card that we are making. So the width of the paper is 11, and the width of the paper is 21, and when you score it in half, you're actually scoring at 10.5. Okay. And then if I stick my green to that, I might want to trim the green down a little bit as well. It's also slightly large. Let me just bring my little mini guillotine in here so that you can see what's happening. Okay, so I just want to take a little bit off the edges. I'm going to take probably 0.5 centimeter there. So this was almost 15. Let's make it 14. And then on the other side, it's 10.5, just under 10, or just over 10. Let's make it on the dot 10. And when you're doing this, you need to push your guillotine blade into the guillotine, and you also need to hold your paper down to make sure that it cuts straight. So if we look at our card now, we have a nice border around the green, and I think I might just have to cut the other piece of the card down to make it fit nicely on top of that. Okay. We'll just take off a couple of millimeters on either side, and I'm going to have to go around with the red again just to finish it off again, but it's not a problem. If one was on 14, we'll just do it under 14. That's on 10.5. And I think we can cut more off the bottom if we need. Let's just check how it layers. There's the green and the other piece. Yes, you just need to take a little bit extra off the bottom, another 1/4 centimetre. So if we take this, probably just under 13.5 will be enough. There we go. And then we can stick it all together beautifully. And put a sympathy stamp on it. Okay, so I trimmed the card, but now I've taken all my red off, so I just want to add a bit of more red around the edges and maybe even some yellow just to give it a more of an orange appearance. Let me put this on my mat so it doesn't slip around. Okay, so I'm going to put more red around the edges. And then some more yellow to make it more orange. Yellow brush around the edges. More yellow around the edges. More of an orange effect on there. And there we go. Then I'm going to stick it all together. Took an A4 piece of paper. So this brown paper is basically an A4 size piece of paper. And I cut it in half. So that the white paper is half of the A4. And then I folded it down the middle. I used my score pal to fold it. Here's my score pal. And I just scored it down the middle to make a A6 card. And when you eventually want to put it in an envelope, you will look for a C6 envelope. Okay, so if I stick this all together now, just take a spot of glue and put it all over the paper. Just not too much because it makes this, especially the finer paper, it makes it go crinkly. The water in the glue makes it go crinkly. You can use any craft glue or wood glue and it will work for you. And I normally just check upside down to make sure that I'm going to stick it in the right place. Okay, so now I know more or less how far from each of the edges I need to be. And I'm going to turn this over and stick it down. And nicely brush all the air bubbles out of it and stick it onto the card. So that's the base of our card. I like to do cards where there's a base layer and then a top layer, but there's many variations of this that you can also do. You don't have to cover the whole of the front of the card. Okay, then I'm going to take my nice blended picture and stick it on top, once again with some glue, just around the edges. This is less likely to wrinkle up because this is proper board and not paper. And there's my beautiful silhouette card. If you don't have stamps, you can also cut images out of a book or a magazine, or even print them off the internet and put them onto your piece of paper. Okay, and there is my card. So I wanted to make this a sympathy card. I'm going to use my Thinking of You stamp, and if I can find it here, oh, there it is. I'll show you how I stamp this. once again, ink onto the stamp, just to make sure that all the whole stamp is inked up. And then I like to use my mouse pad to stamp on. It just gives a little bit of extra give. We can put this as close to the middle as we can get it, put it down, and put lots of pressure on it. And just leave it a while for the ink to soak into the paper. And then when you lift the stamp up, you will have a beautifully stamped impression. There you go. And I'm going to use one of my dies to cut it, but you could just cut a square. Yes. I'm not sure what I've done with my die. Right, so I've got my die over here, and I'm going to cut out the sentiment, thinking of you. I'm just going to bring in my little Sizzix machine, my teeny weeny little Sizzix with its teeny weeny little plates, and I'm going to cut out, I think I'll cut this one, it does look more intense. Stick it in my machine and wind it through. I normally just do, well, the dies I do in and out, but if I use embossing folders, then it's a different story. Okay, and there we have a beautifully cut die, which I think I'm also going to edge with some, maybe with some yellow. Just a little bit of brightening to lift the die and make it not look like a piece of paper that you just stuck on the front of your card. There we go. And then I'm going to stick this on the front of my card. Thinking of you. Maybe we want to put it to one side so we have a bit more of the corn showing. And then I can stick it down with my glue. So this is the art glitter glue, which, as it says here, dries clear. But if you're using wood glue, it should also be perfectly okay. And then I'll stick this. Am I going to stick it to the right or to the left? I think to the right. Oh, right's covering up all my yellow. Maybe to the left. And now I have a quick and easy card to give to my friend on this not so happy occasion. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you soon. There's two other backgrounds that I did. So this one over here is also very similar to that one that I did. On this one I just put a bit of purple around the edges, and I might just stick it onto a slightly bigger card so that it has got more card size. And then I also did this sunset blend with blue and purple and orange, and stamped a silhouette stamp on it. And it's also nice and large, and I'll put it on a larger card eventually. Once I've done that, I'll post them on this link.